every person in a relationship is going to continue to have moments, crossroads, where we make a decision. What's going to be good for my career? What's going to be good for the family? What's going to be good for personal? At that juncture, I knew that I really, really, really love this guy. I'm taking a chance on love and family. Hey everyone, welcome back to Humanize Your Brand. Today we have a really fun and interesting conversation around marriage and business
and money, which all relationships love to have a conversation around.
Yeah.
You can even see me. I'm squirming in my seat to be able to have this amazing conversation, not only with my wife, business partner, but also on camera with you.
Yeah, I mean, we get asked a lot. Like when I tell somebody that I'm working with my husband.
But then you say, but it's Joshua Bealey. Like, oh, okay, no. Dude, that must be amazing.
They're like, that dude? Oof, rough. No, but I mean, we each have kind of different ways in for this discussion on marriage and family and money. And I think it's helpful maybe for you to start with. I'm having him start because he's on his second marriage.
So I've got seniority because I've got 2 under my belt.
Yes. So
what questions do you have, Rachel?
No,
Please, let's go.
Not questions, but like talk a little bit, I think, about just like what happened, you being married, and like I think people need to
give us all the deets on, what happened.
Because I could tell, but like
okay,
a little bit of the journey, and then where I come into the picture. I think we need to give people like a bit of who Rachel and Josh are and are coming together.
Okay. Well, I mean, how much do you want me to give of prior to you?
We're doing like a 30-minute podcast, so like.
Okay. I just want to make sure, Rachel wants everyone to get to her as fast as possible. So
no, I just don't want to talk about all the women that you dated.
I wasn't even going to go into that. Look, I grew up in a family, didn't know divorce. I was in a marriage for almost 10 years, and it probably lasted a lot longer than it should have because I didn't know any different. That's how I was raised, and I was an entrepreneur, right? As entrepreneurs, we could fix anything. When things got bad, I was like, oh, let's get married. When things got worse, I said, let's have a kid, right? Because kids fix everything. Well, that didn't work. Let's have a second. Now, look, I love my children. They're amazing. And, I truly thank my former for being able to help me put them into this world. But not all relationships are meant to be. You start off as a different person than what you were than what you become. And I mean, I learned that. And I mean, at a certain point, outside looking in, we had created this life. Like most people thought that life was amazing. I was running multiple different companies. Money wasn't an object. And, but inside it was miserable. I was hurting. I mean, our relationship wasn't doing great. I mean, I had my own aspects that I added into it as well that weren't good. I thought as a husband, you had to protect your wife and anything that was bad was happening. I know, but like in a way that I had to bear it all. And honestly, that doesn't actually help a relationship because relationships happen through conversation. It's something that you and I have learned. And I didn't have those conversations. And I remember at a certain point, I remember staring at a wall, contemplating, if the money I would leave for my kids would be more important than me. I mean, like my office at my house not only was a sanctuary for me to escape, but also a coffin, that I would contemplate my own existence. And that was rough. And I mean, I think a lot of people in this world deal with that because we're taught a certain level of how things are supposed to be. There's no supposed to be, right? And I think that was the shift. And so when I walked away from that relationship and reset my life at 36, when Rachel first met me, my pendulum had swung. I was going to be a life coach. My man bun, my mala beads, my pendulum had swung, and Rachel met me at that time in my life. And, one of the things that we really learned from that aspect is, I remember being in Rachel, we were going to start a long distance relationship. I mean, look, I don't think either one of us were really too stoked about that.
Okay, can I tell this story now?
I knew there was no way I was going to continue without her When to tell the side of the story.
Okay, so now we're picking up. Josh is 36, and I'm in my second year of my MBA. It's March.
I was older than 36 when we met.
You weren't. I don't think.
I was like 38.
No, you what?
7.
No, okay, whatever. Tit for tat. You know,
You got mad because I told you the wrong age.
you told me you were 36 and you were 37.
There you go. Yeah.
Anyways, so I was finishing up my MBA already at University of Texas, Macomb School of Business, Hook'em, and was already had accepted my offer at Microsoft. So I was getting back to the West Coast. I was excited. I just had worked my ass off, frankly, for not just in the MBA years to get on the corporate side, brand side, and now be in the biggest tech company in the world. So I was really living the life. I was out on West 6. People are familiar with Austin. It was called Concrete Cowboy. It's not that anymore.
Where we met.
Where we met. He was celebrating a friend's birthday, Kurt. Hopefully you listen to this, Kurt, because he always takes credit for our marriage. And I was celebrating one of the MBA girlfriends, Jeanette's bachelorette party. So there was like 20 of us having a lot of fun. Let's just put it that way. Having a fun. And I had a piñata unicorn head on my hand.
Girl, you're telling more like
no,
they want to know the long story. You're like telling one night.
No, but this is everyone loves this story. And Josh came up to us. Dude, this podcast is going to last a while. Okay, right? So we're going to get people. I want people to know us.
Okay.
So I'm pumping my hands, EDM music. Josh comes over with his double necklaces, really deep V-neck, his pecs sticking out, and his top knot, technically. So hot. And he says, do y'all want a shot of Fireball? And I said, yes, we do. What's your name? And literally that moment.
And from there, life was different.
It changed our life. But I think like it's very difficult to meet people, I think, at a bar and at these events nowadays.
We were just talking with our team about
We were just talking about that. But for us, we both were in a time of our life that we were shifting and changing and open to possibility, open to trying out relationships. And we ended up getting, meeting up later that week. We won't get into all the details of it. And one of the things that I loved about Josh was the day after when we were doing the little text message thing, as everyone knows.
Was that pre or post you doing your investigation on me?
This was before. This was, okay. So we were talking and Josh said, I'm not really that good through text. Can we talk on the phone? I mean, ladies, like, how often does that happen, right? And I love that about Josh because he has this Southern gentleman, respectful demeanor about him that is still continues to be one of my favorite things about him and why people respect him so much too. And we had a real conversation and learned about each other. And that real conversation, which frankly relates perfectly to YOUmanize, is what connected us instantly.
Well, that's what kept us going too, because I remember...
Yes, because then we decided to do long distance when I moved to Seattle.
And, I'm going to be honest, I wasn't totally open for it at first. I was like, dude, this is awesome. She's leaving in a couple months. We can have some fun and...
Peace out. It was like the perfect dude. Yeah, it was perfect dude thing. You could ghost real easily.
Not that I was ever going to do that.
You were definitely going to do that. Frankly, I was going to. And then I really liked him. I fell in love with him quickly, within like 2-3 months.
Here we go. Because, that's this.
It was chemistry.
But I mean, the bigger thing I want to understand is that communication aspect. Because, like, we talked about it. I mean, I remember to this day, you asking me that, you're like, hey, you want to come visit me in Seattle? And I was like, yeah, sure. I'll call you. You're like, well, why don't you book a ticket? I was like, dude, you ain't going to play me like that. Like, I'm booked the ticket now. You can't challenge me if I'm going to book the ticket or not. And I mean, we can't
see as a woman, just for the ladies out there. At the time, I was 28, right? I was real with him. I was very confident in myself. I had a great job. I didn't need a man. I didn't. I had really worked a lot on becoming Rachel Bronstein and building this career. So I was like, come visit me. I asked for what I wanted. I was into him. I told him I was into him too. And he reciprocated.
Yeah. But I mean, that was the big thing, though. I mean, I think for us, and it continues to go on and even shows up in what we talk about today, is that, I mean, one of the biggest things was like either one of us could either just literally turn our chairs around and never see the other person because we lived in different cities.
Yeah, it was really easy.
And I think that it allowed us to be able to get to know each other on a different spectrum, different level, because it was like, look, here's everything I like. Here's everything I hate. Hell, here's my kinks, right? Like, just what's your stuff? And let's see if this actually works. And I mean, it was about being able to communicate just everything openly. And that really has continued to transpire in our relationship and our business, because working together, like, it's not easy, but you have to be able to have those hard conversations sometimes. And it's about setting perspective of where someone's at and not guessing on where their perspective is. Because again, you can't understand that until someone actually tells you. I think that's the biggest thing with the relationships that we see, business, personal, online. I mean, like, think about it, right? Like, the biggest thing that people hate with LinkedIn is the whole spam message.
Yeah.
And you're assuming that person wants your services. And so you're like, I'm going to spam 1,000 people and hope to get the one sale, when all you're doing is pissing off 999 people because you didn't have a conversation with them. And I think that's important as we talk about relationships, because I get it. Y'all just want to know all the juicy details about me and Rachel and what we did and all that other stuff. But I know a lot of y'all are here to also learn about how to be able to take this into the real world, not only in your personal life, but in the professional side of, aspects as well. So, like, Rachel, I mean, like, with that, I mean, like, what do you...
Yeah, I mean, there's more, I think, like, setting even, more context in the things that we've learned along the way.
Yeah.
In addition to the fact that, this, so the story keeps going, right? I'm this employee. What, you don't want to? Okay, we don't want to. Okay. I'm at Microsoft. He does have 2 kids, and I knew early on that Josh had 2 kids, and frankly,
whoa, let's be real. The first time we got on a phone call, you were like, and this was like the next day, y'all, and she goes, "You didn't tell me you have 2 kids." I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't introduce myself at the bar. Like, hey, I'm Josh. I'm divorced. We have 2 kids."
Okay, well, like any normal person in 2025, you go stalk somebody, right? You look up their website, you go look them up on social media. And at the time you had Joshua. No, normal. I mean, and I'm reading about him. He's like made multi-million dollars. I'm like, I don't know if that's true. And he says, like, I bet, I'm a dad. All that matters is leaving a legacy. And I'm like, Dad, this is definitely not working, because I'm not ready to be, I don't even want to touch that member. I'm 28 years old. But here we are, fast forward, couple was 2017. We're doing a long distance. And I was very honest with Josh. I was like, let's keep this going. I told him very honestly, I want to have a baby of my own. That was very important. And he said that he was open to that. And I decided to move back to Austin right as I was offered the opportunity to work as the exec communication lead for one of the CVPs at Microsoft, a really game-changing opportunity for my career. And this was every person in a relationship is going to continue to have moments. There are moments, crossroads, where we make a decision. What's going to be good for my career? What's going to be good for the family? What's going to be good for personal? At that juncture, I knew that I really, really, really love this guy, and taking a chance on love and family was worth it to me, because you can always get another job. You can always...
And how did I almost mess that up?
Well, and I'm going to let you tell that story.
Oh.
You love telling that story.
Do I?
Yeah, you do.
Y'all, yeah.
Yeah, because when I was moving, I was making good money, of course. And Josh was in a transition time.
Y'all have to realize, too, like, after my divorce, I mean, like, I had restarted. I walked away from everything. And at 36, I had moved back with my parents with a little bit under $1,000 in my hand. And so it was a really reset time for me to be able to understand what it was, because I hadn't worried about that really money aspect in a while from running my previous companies. And so it was a different aspect. And as an entrepreneur, like, I can always make money. There's always opportunity to be able to do it. Of course, though, I had shifted from that mindset of I can always make money, because a lot of us can. How do I actually make money the right way? How do I actually do it with integrity? How do I do it by adding value in this world, not just by monetizing it? And I think that's a big shift that people need to be able to look at, because I think I don't think most people think of it that way. And I had reached a point, I remember I had just, oh, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I just moved back out of my parents' house.
You said that already.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you already said you moved into your parents' house.
Oh, I did. Oh, wow. I'm sorry. It's,
Hey,
you know,
be honest.
it's one of
Yeah.
those things.
2 kids, post-divorce. Yes, he moved back into his parents' house.
And then I got my own.
I didn't actually know that he was living with his parents when we met, for the record.
Oh, my line on the apps was, I don't know, it's not appropriate for
Yeah,
this.
don't.
It's not appropriate. But again,
Anyways,
I was living in
as
plain
I'm
sight.
about to, I've made the plan. I denied this job at Microsoft. I'm moving back to Austin. I had negotiated with my general manager at the time to let me stay with Microsoft and work remotely, which at the time remote work was very not cool if you weren't
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it just wasn't something that I negotiated.
And then I called her and I said, "Are you sure? Maybe we should rethink this moving back." And she was like,
"What?
Yeah, what? Oh, there you go. You didn't cuss. I appreciate that." Rachel likes to curse a lot. You'll see that over as you continue to watch the episodes. I try and reel her in.
Only not because it's on YouTube, to be honest.
And she's like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Oh, it's just, I was having a month where I wasn't able just to pull the strings that I used to be able to pull and be able to pay the rent. And I was worried I wasn't going to be able to pay the rent that month. And I didn't know how to tell her. And how was I going to bring this person that's turning down a corporate massive opportunity and success and money for me. And that honestly was the first time in my life that someone had chose me like that. I had always chosen others. And so I opened up and I told her, and you can't look at me because I don't want to cry. It was one of those things that you don't think you'll ever hear in this world. I had always been that person that had everyone's back. I was the person that people went to. And she asked me, she goes, "What if in the reverse situation, if I was, I had the problem, you'd take care of me, right?" I was like, "Of course, that's what I was raised. That's what I do." And in this situation, she goes, "Why can't I say I got you?" And I told her, I said, "I don't know. No one's never heard that from anyone other than my mom." And it changed my life forever. I mean, she gave me the bandwidth, the roadway, the runway to be able to really build out standout authority to where it is today, and to be able to create the opportunity for her to leave corporate. And that's an amazing thing, y'all. When you talk about relationships, because that's important to be able to know, like, business relationships come and go, but like that person at home, to be able to know that you can be you, honest, open, and connected, and they still love you for all your faults.
Yeah.
So I did really good. I didn't tear up too much.
He really is tearing up. He's an emotional guy.
That's what my daughter tells me. "Oh my God, you're so emotional."
You're so emo. But I think, the conversation, us working together, and we don't have balance. We're just trying to get through the day. Some days we're integrating our life. We're the most integrated possible.
You flow, ebbs and flows based on how it's going. Yeah.
I mean, we're sitting here recording today. School called Josh about something going on with Skylar. I mean, next moment it could be something else, another kid. It could be a client, coming in tomorrow. We're getting covered. That's just, our life is incredibly integrated. And I think that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
I think that's what, when I talk to people about it, it's like, well, I could never. You're at the dinner table, and I was this, right? Because I worked at Gartner, Microsoft. I have a whole world at work. And then I, of course, tell Josh, or if you're listening, right, you're telling your partner, but you're in and out of it. And some people are like, that's how I want it. That's my world. I don't want my partner.
Everything's separate.
It's separate. And I'm doing this or whatever. And that makes sense for some people. For us, there's something nice that we can just,
we don't have a business life or a personal life. I mean, this is the whole work-life balance that everyone's sold.
In your book, balance is.
We all have our one life. And I mean, that's the way Rachel and I choose to live it. I mean, we don't have different personalities. We have one. Well, sometimes she does. depending on,
Don't
I'm not going to say it.
don't do that.
I get in trouble now.
Yeah.
But seriously, y'all, like it's living that one life is so refreshing because I didn't have that before. And it really changed my life and what we're able to do and how we're able to show up for our kids. And so like that's really important. And we talk about we're going to relationship, and I know this podcast episode was love and money, or relationships and money, but we really haven't talked about the money aspect other than me not having some for a little while. But that was a big thing for you too, because I mean, how you were raised.
It still is. It still is.
You were scared as hell to jump from corporate into having two entrepreneurs in the house.
The reason why I left Gartner faster than I thought. I thought that I was going to do like from the time of working with Julie and a life coach, which Josh funded and supported me in helping me figure out what I want to do with my life. I had a plan. It would be another 2-3 years for sure until I left and went on my own. And I didn't necessarily think go on my own with Josh. And there were two things that
we tried
made me the most scared.
We tried Rhea.
Yeah, Josh did support me a little bit, but there were two things that always scared me. It's just, can we pay our bills?
Can I depend on this guy?
What, two incomes coming in can we at least pay our bills, electric, do the things that like bare minimum, what is that number that we need? Do we have enough in savings to keep us going at least 3 months? And then 2, the health insurance, like a big thing that continues to be so hard in both of us running a business and not, it's great when one person is the employee and one person's the entrepreneur. We don't have that. And in the US, our healthcare system is kind of messed up.
Sucks unless you work for corporate.
And it's honestly getting shitty for that too. But
language.
I don't, shitty's not, come on. And so our health insurance was the other big thing, right? That we not only had to make enough money in the business to just do our lifestyle, but pay for health insurance, which with the challenges we've had and having a baby, and Josh, not this episode, we're going to get a ton into mental health and the things we've experienced with Josh's kids. But we've spent probably consistently since I've left corporate, I'd say about $50,000 a year in health insurance and expenses.
I mean, like that's the average person can't afford that.
It's insane. And so
remember when I told you one time you were about to jump and we were going through, and I said, "Look, baby, this is my emotional side coming in. It's like as long as I got you, I could be living in a ditch. We'd be fine."
I literally just talked about that on a podcast. And I was like, I don't want to live in a damn ditch.
I was like, baby, I got you. As long as we got each other, we're going to be fine.
Yeah. So I think.
Just go BS on that real quick.
Yeah. But part of what, I think if we're trying to think about how we're doing this and the things that we've implemented that could be a little bit supportive to any person listening, communication and honesty is like numero uno. It's the only way. Well, even the really, really, really hard things that you don't want to say, we say it to each other.
Well, and shared tasks don't save a relationship, right? A shared vision does. And having that one vision about where we're going, what we're doing, how we're showing up, not only for ourselves, but for each other, for our kids, I think is really, really important. And
we weren't aligned in the beginning.
Oh, God, no.
The beginning and I take a lot of fault for that. I will. Well, both of us had a lot of ego, and we still do, but it's in a much softer way. He's giving me the look.
Yeah. It works out great, Again, I love seeing Rachel on stage and me sitting at home.
Oh my God. Well, that right there,
but again, that's
joking.
It's great.
Early 2021, it took us about 2 years.
Oh yeah.
For us to get out of this, like, you're the boss, I'm doing this,
Okay.
And and this isn't just in the business to make.
I can tell you one thing. Don't ever tell Rachel that she works for you, because that doesn't play well at all. That's not funny.
Yeah, no. Even if I never had a manager say something like that to me, and I would never. But we clear roles and responsibilities,
Yeah.
not just in the business, but that's been so critical, like respecting our superpowers and having like, this is what you're doing, this is what you're doing, but also in the household with the family. It's like I pretty much do the laundry, although you throw stuff in. He's doing the backyard stuff. Like I'm not power washing.
I can lift the heavy things.
He lifts the heavy things, and I love that about him. Like whatever the domestic chores are
things,
has to be shared. And there's a lot of couples and there's a lot of people, and where our society is going is that women are expected to do a lot of that domestic household. And what I love about our relationship is that we're very equal about it and supportive. And sometimes there were moments Josh is like, you have all these calls all day. I got it with the kids. I'm going to be doing this stuff, and vice versa. And that shared relationship, I think,
allows us to be able to have success not only in life, but in business. And I think that's really important, because you only have one or the other. I mean, like, it's not really a full life. And I mean, everyone wants those different aspects, and success looks different for everybody. And, I'd rather be able to come home and be happy or content.
Happy.
And then you hate the word content.
I hate the word content.
I mean, but we can't always seek happiness. No one's happy.
I agree with that. But like you and I know, is like, I'm fine. I hate the word
I'm
fine.
content. I've achieved at least a level up. Okay.
Then like, what about I'm cool? Like, I'm cool.
Y'all, we could go into a whole nother podcast around the word content versus happy, but we won't do that to you. But here's the thing, Rachel. I think we need to be able to wrap this up and be able to come in, land the plane, so to speak. And I think it kind of boils down to how we show up, because we have 3 kids, and we live in a world where not only you are watching us, but our kids are watching us. And my daughter does research on us all the time, and she knows all my stories. So when you talk about relationship, you talk about money, how do we want to show up for our future generations, right? Not just tell them what needs to happen. How do we actually want to show them? Because I don't think that everyone in this world is doing that right now.
Yeah.
And, we're willing to take a stand for it and allow you to be able to see us for who we are, and not just what we say, but what we do. And that's why we invite you into our home, into our world, and to be able to start this journey with you.
I love that. Leading by example, love over ego, creating boundaries and roles and responsibilities, and just tons and tons of honest communication are how we do it. And it's not perfect. Nothing perfect.
Perfectly imperfect.
Perfectly imperfect.
And that's all you can strive for.
Yeah. Well, we're going to continue to talk a lot about our family, our beliefs, our values on this podcast, because humanizing your brand is about that storytelling. So with that, if you like,
forget your past.
Yes.
To forge a new future. You taught me that. That was one thing. I want to make sure before we tell everyone to just subscribe and to be able to go through the whole thing, like, that's a big piece, right? Yeah. For when we talk about relationship, we talk about the money aspect. We would not be where we are today if I had done what I tried to do, which was forget my past to forge a new future. You have to be able to take your past, learn from it, and create your new future, combining those two. And that's why we are here today.
Yeah.
Story. The story is not starting from I'm a CEO. That's why half of y'all mess up on LinkedIn right now, because you have what your job is now. Where you start from. Me, my first job on there is I worked at Chili's as a server, right? It connects us with our audience. It shifts that gap smaller. So hopefully y'all are able to take some insights from us and learn either what to do or sometimes what not to do.
So if you enjoyed this podcast and you're interested to know maybe one tip that we use, we have this little thing that we do in how we start conversations. Give us a DM, shoot us a DM, comment. We'll let you know what that is. Please subscribe. Please share this with somebody if you felt like it was useful. Follow us, the Joshua B. Lee.
She was waiting for me to say it.
I was.
So the Joshua B. Lee on most social media platforms.
And the Rachel B. Lee. And we look forward to chatting with y'all soon.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
If today's episode sparked something in you, you don't have to keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who's building something with heart. And hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.
If you're ready to humanize your brand now and show up with soul, grab our free guide, 3 Hidden Signals, at standoutauthority.com/3 3, the number 3, hidden signals. We'll see you soon.